Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video. If you've been following along this far, you know we're getting very close to starting the car. There's a couple little things we have left to do, and one of the biggest things that's left is the fuel system. Now we're going to be switching from running gas to E85, and in order to do that, that requires us to change some things in the fuel system. So what we're going to do is replace all the fuel line with Gates Barricade 5/16 fuel hose. We have a Deechworks inline fuel filter. This is a Micron 10 for E85. We have a Deechworks 340 liter per hour fuel pump. I'm going to be running Injector Dymamics 1050X series. These are 1000cc injectors, as well as some Injector Spacers from Rally Road that I'll cover a bit later. Now we're going to get the E30 up on jack stands so we can comfortably work underneath. And I need to drop the gas tank so I can get a lot of the remaining fuel that's in there out, as well as just making it simpler to replace all the lines and pump while I have it out. So underneath the car, you have the feed that goes through the stock fuel filter and up to the rail, as well as the return that goes back to the tank. So we're going to start off by removing this filter and all the rubber lines. Now before I did anything on my car, I already know that there's going to be a lot of pressure in the lines, so I pulled the fuse for the fuel pump while it was running just to relieve all the pressure, and as you can see there's still a lot of gas that's going to come out. And on the passenger side of the car, up in here is the hose clamp for the filler neck. You got to undo that so we can pull that hose off. And then to drop the pan, you want to remove all the 13mm nuts that are surrounding the whole perimeter. And also don't forget to unplug the fuel pump, the fuel sending unit, and disconnect the vent hose. Hey guys, I apologize. I lost some clips here dropping the tank, and the audio's kind of trash due to the fan being on in the background, so bear with me. Now this is the stock fuel tank in an E30. This one here is only about 5 years old, so I'm just going to reuse it. I had considered going fuel cell, but because this is so new and in such great shape, I'm just going to use it. We'll remove the fuel sending unit. Now this is a Walbro 255. It works great, but we're going to need something that moves a little bit more fluid. Now I don't know how well you can see in there, but this tank is pretty much spotless inside. Now this is the fuel pump bracket. I already have it cut and modified for the previous fuel pump that I had on here, as well as this plug that's soldered onto the prongs. I don't believe this is the same plug as the new pump I'm putting in, so I'm going to have to solder on new connections. But either way, let's get this knocked out. This is the new fuel pump. It's a Deechworks 340 liter per hour. It's about the same size as the Walbro, and it looks like the plug is the same as well, so I actually might get lucky here. And it is the same connection. That makes it nice and easy. We'll install the sock. So what I'm trying to do is push on this little pinch ring here that pinches this nipple and holds the filter in place. And there it is, complete. I just need to get a submersible hose to run for the feed here, and then I can go ahead and throw it back in the tank. So this is the Gates Barricade hose. It's 5/16 stock size. It's rated for all different types of fuel, and if you're not going to go PTFE AN lines, this is the next best thing. Now that we have the fuel pump and housing installed into the tank and all new fuel lines, we can get this back up into the car. Then we're going to install our 10 micron fuel filter. I was hoping I could put this somewhere in the bay, but I really don't have any room to where it would be visible, so I'm just going to mount it in the stock E30 location. The fuel tank is installed, and I have the fuel filter hard mounted to the chassis just with some riv nuts. The next thing on the agenda is the fuel rail and injectors. These are Injector Dynamic 1000cc injectors. They're 1050X series, and these are EV14 plugs, so I also got some adapters to go from EV1 to EV14, as well as some injector spacers. The problem with running these is that they will seat too far into the intake manifold to where it actually won't seal, so you use the spacers to hold it up at the right height inside the manifold so you have a nice tight seal on the injector. I'm going to lubricate these O-rings with just a tiny bit of Dawn dish soap. We'll just press them in. And then you'll install the clips to hold them into place. And then we're going to install the EV1 to EV14 adapters. And the way these spacers work is you'll put them on the manifold side and take off the O-ring, and there's a beveled end and a flat end. You want that flat end to go to the manifold. Slip it over, put the O-ring back on. Then we'll install our new fuel line. All of the injectors are installed. Vacuum line's hooked up to the fuel pressure regulator. All I have left to do is cut and hook up the fuel lines from the rail to the hard lines on the chassis, and it'll be done. And that completes every part of the fuel system that I'm going to upgrade on the car. We have the fuel pump replaced, tanks emptied out of all the gas. We have the inline fuel filter mounted to the chassis, all new 5/16 fuel line, as well as the injectors, adapters, and fuel rail harness now installed. The only thing I have left that I want to do is get a new relay for my fuel pump, because that one's going to draw a bit more power. And other than that, that's it. I'll install that at a later time. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a good one.